Let's start with the Indiana Pacers. I want to talk about Tyrese Haliburton. The Pacers haven't done anything outwardly interesting recently. Obviously, every game is interesting, but they picked up some easy wins. They dropped a game in Miami. It's been a lull in the schedule, right? They beat the Raptors, they beat the Bulls, two results we would have anticipated. The Heat loss wasn't too dramatic in my opinion. And then moving forward, we've got the game against the Rockets tonight, which is a big deal. And then there's a break, and then the Hawks twice, and then the Bucks on the second night of a back-to-back will be a very big game, and we'll talk about that next week. But in terms of game results and game performances, the Pacers haven't done anything too wild. So I want to talk about Tyrese Haliburton because he has been putting together results that I would consider to be wild. The Pacers are 4-2 since the All-Star break, facing tough competition, right? That's a win over Memphis. That's a win over the Clippers. That's a loss to the Nuggets. But nonetheless, they're playing tough teams. At least some of them are tough teams. They're 4-2 since the All-Star break. In that period, so in those 6 games, I want to list off some stats that we've seen in Tyrese Haliburton. He's averaging a double-double. That's 23 points, over 23 points, and about 11.5 assists. He's scoring, and he's creating opportunities for his teammates to score as well. His field goal percentages in those games ranges from 52% to 80%. And the night that was 80%, he was 12 for 15 against Toronto. So shot at an incredible volume and was scoring at an incredible volume. And again, the lowest he ever got was against Memphis. The lowest he ever got was 52%. And then that was against Memphis. And then in the three-point percentage as well, the only game that he's below 50% in three-point percentage is the Memphis game. He went 4 for 11. But he's taking a minimum of 5 shots a game and scoring the three ball at over a 50% clip in these 6 games. On top of that, he literally has not missed a free throw. He's 12 for 12 since the All-Star break. He has not missed a free throw. Defensively, he's got 3 steals in every single game. He had 4 in Miami, 1 versus Memphis, but he's effectively expected to have 3 steals in every game at least. And he only turns the ball over once a game. He has about 1 turnover per game over this stretch. So that's a lot of information. What are the takeaways that we're walking away from this conversation with? Well, in the weeks before the All-Star break, he was struggling to crack 20. That was a rarity. It was a rarity. It was unlikely that he would crack 20. But now it's borderline every single night. Tyrese Haliburton is coming in, getting it done, whether it's in Gainbridge or away from Indianapolis. He's scoring 20% or 20 points at least, or at least getting very close every single night. He's scoring more. He's, again, creating more shots for teammates. He's playing his role as point guard much better. He's shooting much more effectively. We talked about the fact that he just can't miss. He can't consistently miss against quality opponents as well. 3-point percentage doesn't drop under 50 except for 1 game out of the 6. Field goal percentage has been between 52 and 80 this entire time. Hasn't missed a free throw. And then on top of that, on defense, he's creating turnovers while taking care of the basketball himself. And Tyrese Haliburton has been someone throughout this season, especially during the slow start the Pacers endured, where he was struggling to avoid turning the ball over, right? But he's figured it out. He's taking care of the basketball. He's contributing to. He's causing 3 turnovers and only having 1 himself. So he's effectively tripling that ratio there. And the assist to turnover ratio for Tyrese Haliburton is just out of this world because again, he's been an incredible distributor of the basketball and he's taken care of it as well. Tyrese Haliburton has statistically been good everywhere. He's been good on offense. He's been disruptive on defense. He's been effective in transition. He doesn't make mistakes. And I think the All-Star break is exactly what he needed at this point in the season. Going into the All-Star break, the Pacers, of course, just coming off an overtime victory against the Wizards. A little bit too close, right? Not what you want. I mean, sure, they came away with a win, but it was a bit concerning. And at least me personally, after that game, I kind of breathed a sigh of relief and said, okay, let's move into the All-Star break and let's put ourselves potentially in position to succeed moving forward. And that's exactly what happened. Pascal Siakam went to the All-Star break. He's not missing a beat. But Tyrese Haliburton, he had a chance to rest. He had a chance to reflect on his first half performance, realize the fact that he was in the All-Star game the year prior, and of course missed it this time around. It's a chance to reset. It's a chance to recalibrate. It's a chance to get your feet set and prepared for the second half of the year. And now we're seeing the impact of that. And to me, I've seen more poise, better court vision, better and more consistent results across the floor. This is the superstar Tyrese Haliburton, the one that we've always really longed for all season and have always been looking for. We're finally seeing that consistent production from Tyrese Haliburton to a point where you, of course, would expect from a guy like him on a team like this that we're considering to be championship contenders and considering to be capable of going all the way. The question of whether or not Tyrese Haliburton is a superstar, I think, is answered during this stretch. I would say yes, absolutely, because he checks every box, right? I think Tyrese Haliburton is somebody that he's one of the more enigmatic players in the league right now, just because when you look at him, you don't think superstar necessarily. You look at LeBron, you look at KD, you look at Curry. They all had their success right out of the gate, and they've maintained it over the course of decades, truly. And Tyrese Haliburton, someone whose success kind of came out of nowhere. We didn't really fully understand that he was going to be this good for Indiana when we got him. And he's kind of slowly worked his way up to this point of success, and that's great. And then you see some of the inconsistencies earlier in the year, and of course he was out for a little bit of time during the playoffs last season, and he wasn't the guy necessarily every single night putting up the numbers that were allowing the Pacers to advance. And now all of a sudden you look up and you see these points, you see these assists, you see the fact that he's averaging a double-double, right? You see the fact that his shooting is incredible. You see the fact that he's elevating the team around him, and you realize that maybe Tyrese Haliburton is at the level of the superstars that we see take teams to the NBA Finals. He's an individual talent. He's playing well on his own. He's elevating the team around him. He leads a successful team that's in playoff contention. That's a superstar right there. And Tyrese Haliburton has been performing like one in recent days and recent weeks, and that's very, very encouraging to see, especially because we're at a point where it's not just flashes anymore, right? It's consistent superstar level production from really the top guy on the Indiana Pacers. If he stays healthy and if he stays effective, this team has a chance, and that is absolutely what I would love to be able to say about the Indiana Pacers at this point. Tyrese is in this situation where they're chasing down the 3 seed. I don't think that they're going to be the 3 seed at this point. They're 5.5 games out. They're tied with the Bucks right now for the 4. I think that's what the focus should be, is just keeping position and maintaining the 4 seed, probably setting up for a series against the Bucks, which will be difficult. It will be strenuous, but it will be doable. It'll be workable. It'll be manageable. It'll be winnable. And Tyrese Haliburton's putting himself in the position to where this Indiana Pacers team can stay hot and have someone like Tyrese leading them night after night and really start winning in the playoffs again, knock out the Bucks, and then all of a sudden you're facing down the Cavs and you're having a real serious conversation about whether or not the Pacers are going to be capable of going all the way to the NBA Finals. I don't know if we should be that optimistic, but I certainly think we should be close, and I think Tyrese Haliburton playing like a superstar is a very important reason why.